Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Vaishnav
Jai.
Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki
Jai.
All glories to the Assembled Devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the
Hare
Assembled
Krishna.
Devotees. All glories to the Assembled
Hare
Devotees.
Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Tato Jayam
Tato
Udiraye.
Jayam Udiraye.
Nasta Prayeshu Apadreshu.
Nasta Prayeshu Abhatreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki.
Before reciting this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we first offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, the supermost human being, Nara Narayana Rishi, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, and the author, Srila Vyasadeva. By regularly attending classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotees, everything that is inauspicious to the heart is completely annihilated, and devotional service is established as an irrevocable fact. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 22nd chapter. Bali Maharaj surrenders his life, verses 21, 22, and 23. I will first read 21 and we together repeat 23.
Right.
Yeah. Shri Brahmo Vacha.
Shri Brahma Vacha.
Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha.
Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha.
Deva Deva Jaganmaya.
Deva Deva Jaganmaya.
Munchainam Hrita Sarta Sarvasvam.
Munchainam Vita Sarvasam.
Nityam Arha Nigraham.
Nayam Arhati Nigraham.
Lord Brahma said, O well-wisher and master of all living entities, O worshipable deity of all the demigods, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, now this man has been sufficiently punished, for you have taken everything. Now you can release him. He does not deserve to be punished more. Purport by Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Lord Brahma saw that Prahlad Maharaja and Vindhyavali had already approached the Lord to ask mercy for Bali Maharaj, he joined them and recommended that Bali Maharaj's release on the grounds of worldly calculations. Text 22. Kritsna tinina daita buhur
Krishna te anena datta bhur.
Loka karma jitaschaye.
Loka karma jitaschaye.
Niveditam cha sarvasvam.
Niveditam cha sarvasvam.
Avaklava vadiya.
Amaviklavivadiya.
Bali Maharaja had already offered everything to your lordship. Without hesitation, he has offered his head, the planets, and whatever else he earned by his pious activities, including even his own body. Yai parayo asati salam pradaya.
Jatpadayor ashaddhi salilam pradaya.
Durvankuraya pi vidyaya shatim sharparyam.
Durvan kurerapi vidyaya satim saparyam.
Api utamam gatimashau bhajate trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim ashu bhajate trilokim.
Dasvan aviklava mana katam artim rachet.
Dasvan viklava mana kathamartim arachet.
Yat padayo rasatati salidam pradaya.
Yat padayor rasati salam pradaya.
Durvan kore api vidhaya simsapayam.
Durvan kurerapi vidyaya satim saparyam.
Api utamam gatim ashau bhajate trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim ashu bhajate trilokim.
Dasvan aviklava manakatam artim rachet.
Dasvan aviklava manakatam artim rachet.
Yat parayo rasatasti shalilam pradaya.
Yat padayor rasati salilam pradaya.
Durvan kurerapi vidhaya satim sarpayam.
Durvan kurerapi vidaya satim saparyam.
Api utamam gatim asho bhajate trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim ashu bhajate trilokim.
Dasvan apklava manakatam atim rachet.
Dasvan aviklava manakatam artim rachet. Yat padayorastadhi salilam pradaya.
Yat padayorastadhi salilam pradaya.
Durvan kurerapi vidyaya satim saparyam.
Durvan kurerapi vidyaya satim saparyam.
Api uttamam gatim asu bhajate trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim asho bhajate trilokim.
Dasvan akila manakatham artim rachet.
Dasvan viklava manakatam artim rachet.
Yat padayor asatatihi saralim pradaya.
Yat padayo rasatati salilam pradaya.
Durvan kurerapi vidaya satim saparayam.
Durvan kurerapi vidyaya satim saparyam.
Api uttamam gatim ashav bhajati trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim asu bhajate trilokim.
Dashvan aviklava manaha katam artim richit.
Dasvan akila manakatham artim rachet.
Padayor asatadi salilam pradaya.
Yat padayor asatatihi salilam pradaya.
Durvam kudairapi vidaya satim saparyam.
Durvan kurerapi vidaya satim saparyam.
Api uttamam gatim asau bhajatre trilokim.
Api uttamam gatim ashav bhajate trilokim.
Dashvan aviklava manakatam artim rachet.
Dasvan aviklava manakatham artim rachet.
Yatpadayo, at the lotus feet of your lordship,
at the lotus feet of your lordship,
Ashatarihi,
Ashatadihi,
a great-minded person
Great-minded person
who is without duplicity,
who is without duplicity.
Salilam,
Salilam,
water,
water,
Pradaya,
Pradaya,
offering,
Offering.
Durva,
Durva,
with fully grown grass,
with fully grown grass,
Ankure,
Ankurae,
and with buds of flowers,
and with buds of flowers,
Api,
Api,
although, Vidhaya,
Vidhaya,
offering,
offering,
Satim,
Satim,
most exalted,
Most
most
exalted.
exalted,
Saparyam,
Saparyam,
with worship, Api,
Api,
although, Uttamam, the most highly elevated, Gatim, destination, Asao,
Asao,
such a worshipper,
such
Such a worshipper
Bhajate,
Bhajate,
deserves,
deserves
Trilokim,
Trilokim,
the three
the
worlds,
three worlds,
Dasvan,
Daswan,
giving to you,
giving to you,
Aviklava,
Aviklava,
without mental duplicity,
without
mental
duplicity,
Katam, how,
How?
Artim,
Artim,
the distressed condition of being arrested,
the distressed condition
being
of being arrested,
Riche, he deserves.
He deserves.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. By offering even water, newly grown grass, or flower buds to your lotus feet, those who maintain no mental duplicity can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. This Bali Maharaja, without duplicity, has now offered everything in the three worlds. How then can he deserve to suffer from arrest? Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verse 26, it is stated, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tat aham bhakti upartam ashnami prayat atmanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind that even if an unsophisticated person with devotion and without duplicity offers at the lotus feet of the Lord a little water, a flower, a fruit, or a leaf, the Lord accepts it. Then the devotee is promoted to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Brahma drew the Lord's attention to this subject and requested that he release Bali Maharaj, who was suffering, being bound by the ropes of Varuna, and who had already given everything, including the three worlds, and whatever he possessed. Chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suteri Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam class, and I hope to render sufficient service unto you for pleasing Guru and Gauranga, and especially Srila Prabhupada, who has delivered this message of Srimad Bhagavatam into the whole world. And by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have received this wonderful, wonderful pastime of Krishna in all his incarnations. To understand Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to understand who is Krishna. Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indrali Vyakulam Lokam Vidai. He's coming again and again, time and time again. He's coming to annihilate the miscreants and to protect the devotees. So we are here assembled to find out what is our position, who we are, and how we can serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by understanding who is Krishna in his many incarnations, in his many, many forms. Eti Chamsa Kalopamsa is appearing in so many forms, like as a dwarf avatar, as Vamanadev. And Vamanadev is certainly a very, very special form of the Lord. Jai Jai Shri Radha Parisisvara, Jai Shri Taisha Chisuta, Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Bhagavan. By understanding who is Krishna and our relationship to Krishna, we can render sufficient service unto Krishna. Here Krishna appears as Vamanadev. In the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have already proceeded to so many forms of the Lord, like Kapila, like Narsimhadev, and now we are at the times when Bali Maharaj took all over the universes, and eventually he had to give it up again. Bali Maharaj, he was confronted by a dwarf. And he was not just a dwarf, he was a Brahman dwarf. And he was not just a Brahman dwarf, but he was actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, disguised as a Brahmana dwarf, to trick Bali Maharaj and to take everything away from him. Being tricked by Krishna, Bali Maharaj, he had to surrender the 3 worlds and even himself, and thus he was bound up. He was bound up by the ropes of Varuna.
It's a very
And thus Bali Maharaj, bound by the ropes of Varuna, he received the association of his grandfather, of Prahlad Maharaj. Wonderfully he appeared and he was offering prayers to Vamanadev. By offering prayers to Vamanadev, he could kind of draw the attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bali Maharaj, being bound up, he could only bow his head in shame. He was feeling ashamed in that situation in front of Prahlad Maharaj's grandfather. And then, even on top of the shame, to meet his grandfather, being bound up by ropes, having lost everything, his wife came to the place and she was offering very, very wonderful prayers to Vamanadev, as well as chastisement to him, offering very wonderful chastisement in that way, by glorifying Vamanadev. Oh, wonderful Vamanadev is, and how foolish the people are who cannot recognize him. They think they are the proprietors, they think they are the doer, but in actuality all the activities are carried out by Krishna. Vamanadev in this form, he fully received the mercy by the wife of Bali Maharaj, who thus was completely humiliated. And then even Brahma, the creator, came to the scene, and Brahma, he is known for offering so many wonderful prayers. Every morning in the temple we hear the wonderful Adi Purusham, the Govindam prayers, which are just full of transcendental potencies. And every morning when we come to the temple to have darshan of the wonderful deities, we can join in the prayers. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Vinam Kwanantam Aravinda Layataksham Varavyatam Satam Udasundaram Kandar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Maripurusham Tamam Bhajami. And how wonderful the Lord looks today. Can we please turn the camera to just have the nice darshan for the people on the online view? How wonderful Radha Parisisvara looks today, and how much we can glorify him. Just like Brahma offered this wonderful glorification to the Lord. Like he is adept in playing the flute in the spiritual world together with thousands and thousands of maid servants, the gopis and the Lakshmis, who are surrounding and serving him. And he is so wonderfully bent in this three-bended form. And his smile is even bewildering the love of God. And even Cupid is bewildered. Even Cupid is bewildered by the attractiveness of Sri Radha Parisisvara. And Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, and Nitai Sachi Sutta, they're all looking very, very wonderful, very beautiful today. And we are very happy. And please, everyone, come to the temple to have darshan and to also to pray to Krishna in the way that Brahma prayed. That we can learn. It's not easy to have a sincere prayer, but in that situation, when we are being humiliated, when we have lost everything, and that is the process of devotional service. We might get rid of all our material attachment, our material desires become purified, and we understand that all these material possessions, they are being dovetailed, they are being connected to Krishna. Anashaktasya Vishayan Yataham Upajunrataha Nirbande Krishna Sambande Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. It is said in Bhakti Yoga Samrita Sindhu that everything through devotional service becomes connected. Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. It becomes connected to Krishna Sambande. Krishna Sambande. By rendering service to Krishna, we become connected to Krishna. Anashaktasya Vishayam, and we will be detached from all the trivialities, from all the material affairs and connections and relations and everything that we might think we possess. It will be eventually in devotional service, it will be connected to Krishna. And Brahma, he offers his most wonderful prayers in the form that he gives an example of how we can connect to Krishna by simply offering a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water. And it is mentioned in the purport, the very, very nice shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, which says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Only if we offer little leaf, little flower, little fruit, little water. And it does not have to be big. Prabhupada explains that even we pick a little flower from the garden and we bring it to Krishna. That bhakti that we offer with the flower, that Krishna accepts. And Krishna will be very pleased even if we offer this one single flower in a sincere mood. Even if we offer little water with a heart, with very much the bhakti. And it is also understood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is so much pleased. He was even so much pleased with Advaita Acharya just offering tulasi leaves and little water to the Shalagram Shila that he appeared to this world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna, is none different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we understand that even Brahma appeared with him. Brahma appeared as Haridas Thakur together with Sri Krishna Chaitanya, offering so many prayers as the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We could ask, why speak elaborate prayers? Why think of so many words to glorify in poetry and with intricate embroidery around? We might be thinking of the, what was his name, Kashmiri, the poet, the expert poet who came to Nadia and who was doing so much elaborate poetry to glorify Mother Ganga. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, listening to all of this, he did not find any bhakti in it. He was wondering, what is all this? This might be very elaborate embroidery of poetry, of words, but where's the bhakti, where's the love? And thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he found mistakes knowingly to chastise the Kavi, to chastise the Kashmiri, and to give him a direction towards this very, very significant way of including our hearts into a prayer, including ourselves, and surrendering by offering our thoughts, our minds. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam evastyasi satyam te patijane priyosrimi. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter that by surrendering our mind, and by just bowing down, just by offering our namaskaram, we are very, very dear to the Lord. And that is something so simple that we might forget. We might be thinking, how can I please the Lord? I should buy a big temple for Radha Parisisvara. Yes, you can do. Yes, please. You can donate your whole life to Krishna. You can serve every day at the temple. Yes, very good. You can do all this. Yes. But even so, if you just offer a little fruit, a little flower, a little water to Krishna, then he will be pleased in that way. But that is not to say that we should be always aiming at minimal. We should go for the heart's content. We should offer Krishna everything, like Bali Maharaj offered Krishna everything. That is the perfection of devotional life, to eventually attain the supreme goal. We have heard of our position as Bali Maharaj was bound up. The living entity is bound up. It is so much bound up in its material and activities. But by association with the pure devotees, like Bali Maharaj was associating with Prahlad Maharaj, was associating with Brahma, was associating with his pious wife, was associating even with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he attained the supreme goal by surrendering everything to Krishna. Now, what does that mean for our spiritual life? How can we attain the supreme goal of seeing Krishna face to face? Well, we could come into the temple. And here we are. We see Krishna face to face. And Krishna is here. And this is not a normal place. This is actually Vaikuntha. This is the spiritual world where Krishna resides. And by seeing Krishna face to face, all our desires become purified. And maybe we go out of the temple, or maybe we go out back into the streets, and we might think that, why did I even leave this place? Why did I leave it in the first place? Why did I turn my back towards Krishna? Why? And then the whole endeavor of our material life, it becomes suddenly a big question, and we might be confused and bewildered. Just as the living entity is bewildered. Manaha shastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. It thinks himself to be the doer, and it is totally bewildered by manaha, by the mind and by the five senses, which includes the mind, the six senses. And why is that so? Prakriti kriyamanani gunaikanamani sarveshaha ahankara vimutatma kartaham viti mandrate. Because we have identified ourselves with this material world. And it is very nice, this clothing and my nice watch and my phone and my laptop and my home and everything I got. This is so nice. I like all of this because we can spend so much time with it, and all my time I would love to give it to Krishna, but I could also use it for here and there, and this material world is really fun, you spend some time in the material world and you enjoy a bit here and there, and you might be sniffing around in one place or another place, and you think, oh, this smells nice, maybe I should go to that place, and then you end up in a butcher shop, and you're up in the butcher shop, and the butcher, he's asking, what do you want? And have you ever been to a butcher shop? Yes, it is a very smelly place. It is very smelly, and you think that how many cows, how many animals, how many lives have been going over the transaction bar, and how many people have paid a bill for giving themselves up, for leaving their spiritual life behind. They're selling Most people are selling their spiritual life. They're giving it up by their hard-worked money. They are offering themselves to Maya. And that is where we have to draw a distinction of a devotee who is fully aware of the cravings of the tongue, who's fully aware of this illusory energy, Maya, that is asat, that is temporary. And he would not even go into the butcher shop. The devotee would only go into the butcher shop with a Harinam, and he would maybe convince the butcher to chant Hare Krishna. That would be possible. But otherwise, there's no business for a devotee to go to such a place. Why would we even consider? But maybe, and we have experienced it practically, that even a butcher, he can become a first-class cook for Krishna. Yes, I will tell you the story of Bhakta Budwan. Maybe you already know Bhakta Budwan. He is a very, very wonderful devotee who comes especially for festivals. Because when there are many people coming for a festival like Janmashtami, he has a special occupation. His special occupation is to sharpen the knives. To sharpen the knives, because he's expert in that. He knows so expertly how to sharpen the knife. So now it's funny because we do need a knife to cut nice vegetables for Krishna. And at the same time, we do need a knife for killing an animal. So at the same time, the knife is one and the same. But the sharpened knife can be used either in the service of Krishna, or it can be used by the butcher to kill an animal. Thank God the transformation is possible for everyone. And we see it practically that even meat-eating, loitering, hippie like-minded people, they might transform into a sincere devotee of the Lord. And we have seen it practically with Prabhupada's disciples, who came from so and so many backgrounds, who came from so and so many occupations. Some of them, they were architects. I would like to tell the story of Surabi. He was Hans Kerman, and my Gurudev, Kadamba Kanana Swami, like to tell that story. He was an architect, and as an architect, he was using his skill for so and so many things. He was using his skill for seeing architecture being developed in the Western world, and he took inspiration in India. Now the funny story is that Tamal Krishna Goswami, he met him somehow or other. They met. Tamal Krishna Goswami met him in Juhu. And Hans Kerman, as an architect, he was fascinated by the temples. And Tamal Krishna Goswami said, well, if you're fascinated by the temples, why don't you come inside the temple? Why don't you meet the people who are actually living and practicing inside the temple? Why don't you come to see Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master? Yes, and Srila Prabhupada was there in his office in Juhu. And Hans Kerman, he came along. He was very interested. He was an open-minded, liberal-thinking person. And he thought, okay, maybe I see this spiritual master. Well, how could I refuse such an offer? And Hans Kerman came into the office, and Prabhupada was asking, oh, you are an architect. Can you draw a temple? And Tamal Krishna Goswami, he gave Hans Kerman a paper and a pen. And Hans Kerman, he started to draw with one pen in one line a temple. And it was not any temple. Can you guess which temple it was that he drew? He drew on the spot in one line. He was not even putting the pen of the paper. He drew the Krishna Balaram Mandir. And Prabhupada was astonished. He thought, this person, he can use his talent for Krishna. So then he was asking again, Hans Kerman. Prabhupada was asking, and would you like to come to the initiation ceremony tomorrow? And Hans Kerman would ask, who is going to be initiated? And Prabhupada would say, you. Hans Kerman became eventually Surabi Swami. That was Prabhupada kidnapping a person like him, making him a devotee. The next day he took initiation, and it happened a second time. When Hans Kerman took sannyas, it was the same thing. He got initiated, and it was to his surprise. This means practically that every one of us, we all have a nature. Some might be a good architect, some might be a good scientist, Some might know how to install technology or IT things. Some might have a good managerial background. Some is more Brahminically inclined by worshipping the deities, or whatever talent, whatever nature. It even can be someone who just knows how to clean the floors properly. It does not matter if we are inclined as a worker or as a salesman or as a manager or as a priest. It does not matter. It matters that we put our service into connection to Krishna and the devotees, and that talent that we can use for Krishna, that dharma, dharmasya hi apavargasya narta nartaya supakatate, means that we shouldn't use our talent for nonsense occupations where we're earning money and where we're gratifying our senses necessarily. But if we use that talent to earn money for Krishna, if we use that talent directly to clean the temple floors, to offer service to the deities, to install nice facilities here, and to help out the community like that, then we can definitely say that this is spiritual service. This is service that is rendered to Krishna. And there's a nice definition giving in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu what that even means, devotional service. When we want to offer service to Krishna, how can we define this? And it is said by Rupa Goswami that it should be anya vilasita shunyam jnana kamari anavritam. It should be free of all fruitive materialistic inclination, and it should be free of all monistic philosophy, thinking of I am the greatest and there's only me and my, and there's the speculation of Bali Maharaja even so might have thought himself to be the greatest emperor of the world, the greatest king of all the demons, but that was not pure. But he became purified. In that sense, we become purified. We become purified by devotional service. And thus we can render first-class devotional service. Salvo upadi vinir muktam tat paradvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchate. Slowly, bit by bit, the senses will be purified by rendering service to Rishikesh. And we can experience the cleansing process by having our desires slowly, bit by bit, sarva upadi vinir muktam, cleansed away. All the upadis, our designations. I think myself to be Muslim, Christian, Hindu. I think myself to be Russian, Saudi, Indian, French, German. We have all these upadis, but by slowly, surely engaging in devotional service, we can cleanse them away, and we can be acquainted with the spiritual nature that is defined as Krishnera, Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera, Nityadas, as a Nityadas, as a servant of Krishna. And by becoming a servant of Krishna, we can learn to identify with the spiritual nature. There's a wonderful, beautiful verse that we use for deity worship. And before we establish the worship, before we go on the altar, we should meditate on that very wonderful prayer of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is identifying himself neither as a Shudra, as a worker, neither as a Vaishya, as a salesman, as a farmer, neither as a Kshatriya, as someone who's doing managerial or fighting work, neither as a Brahmin. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say that all of these, we call them Varnas, and all of these ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, all of these ashramas, they are there, but I do not identify with them, as I only identify myself as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lover of the gopis. That is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurates as a spiritual identity, who we are. And thus we can work on that by using it in our daily services. And it is very, very nice that there's a transformation happening in our consciousness, which is a healthy sign of evolution. And so the transformation of consciousness is happening here also in in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where we see Bali Maharaj from a materialistic, demoniac king, he's transforming to a surrendered soul. How wonderful this is. We can only hope that the whole world can take example of Bali Maharaj, and that we definitely are, as aspiring practitioners of devotional service, we can take so much example of Bali Maharaj, who is thus being, he's being glorified in one way by Brahma already. Brahma is glorifying Bali Maharaj in this respect. By glorifying the Supreme Lord, he's also glorifying the devotees. Let us read the verse again one more time before we take some questions and discussions. By offering even water, newly grown grass, or flower buds at your lotus feet, those who maintain no mental duplicity can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. This Bali Maharaja, without duplicity, has now offered everything in the three worlds. How then can he deserve to suffer from arrest? We could ask in that regard, what does that mean to be without duplicity? Brahma is glorifying Bali Maharaj to be as one without duplicity. But what does that practically mean in our spiritual life? Maybe we can churn some nectar if you like to engage in some discussion like that. What does that mean for you to be of no duplicity? Anukulina Krishna Shilanam Bhakti Yoga. Yes, to acting favorably for Krishna and to serve him nicely. Yeah.
By following footsteps.
And by following in the footsteps, Anukulina. Yeah. By following in the footsteps of the Vaishnavas. Thank you, Doinita. That is a very, very valuable statement from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yeah, Rupa Goswami is giving us this nice definition. What does it mean without duplicity? Do you have something in mind, Rasa Prabhu?
For me, no duplicity means like generally we have like it's a Japanese proverb that everybody has three faces. Heard that?
There's a proverb that everyone has three faces.
Three faces. One he shows to the world.
One he shows to
the people in general.
To the people in general.
One he shows only to his near and dear ones.
One he shows to the near ones, the friends and family.
Friends and family. And one he shows only to himself.
And one he shows only to himself. This is very nice.
So we all have these, like we do certain, at least I do certain things like which can, I guess you got it what I'm
meaning.
like.
Three faces mean that there's certain...
We have certain different behaviors or we present ourselves like that. We don't want to show our shortcomings.
But you know what is funny about this? It is described in Nectar of Devotion, because this Chinese proverb is saying three different character traits. But what does Nectar of Devotion say about Krishna? How many different characters does Krishna imbibe and act on?
These are not characteristics. These are means your personas.
Yeah.
Not characteristics. So means like in front of the people in general, we like to present ourselves like I'm flawless. I have no shortcomings. But those who are our friends and family, they know that he do certain no do's. And
you show yourself in a perfect manner, very sober, but in the background you would act not in such a sober way. So.
But in your own eyes, in your own mind, you know what you do, what you think.
Yeah.
So no duplicity means all three same. There is nothing to hide.
Yeah.
You can just openly share whatever is there in your mind.
Transparent. Like, can you give an example of a person who's transparent like that?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
He didn't hesitated with preaching to Asura or his father also.
He
just
showed he showed no duplicity even to his father. Prahlad Maharaj was uprightly honest.
So he was just, and there was, means, like, I have this tendency of sense gratification. So everything every situation I face, I think of first myself. Like when I go for a prasadam, so is there enough puri or not? Is there any enough chapati? First I think of myself, then of others. So that's the depletion nature of mind.
That nature, yes. That nature is
Externally, I can say, oh no, you take prasad, no problem. But internally, I was like, oh no.
So we're making the distinction of having ourselves gratified, for example, when it comes to prasadam, or having others served first, making that kind of fine line of where we are. Are we serving others first, thinking that puri, that definitely goes to Donitai. He has to have it. He has to take it. Otherwise, I would not be happy. Or are we thinking, I take it, and then maybe I share it. Yes. And maybe you also have something to share. What is it?
No, nothing to share.
When it comes to duplicity, what can you say about duplicity? Do you
Yeah,
have something
you
in
guys
mind?
would say, for me, how I understand duplicity is for the opposite of duplicity is simplicity. Also, like Srila Prabhupada explain what is simplicity. Like you are thinking the same thing, you are doing the same thing, and you are speaking the same thing. But most of the time, if we look at ourselves, something is going on in our mind. We are doing something else, and we are speaking of something else.
Yes.
And even if we can align these three, like the first level, that's also here, because maybe more closer to being not being duplicities.
So Mataji was drawing the contrast between what we see as duplicity. On the other side, the opposite of duplicity is simplicity. And simplicity means to have words, actions, and thoughts in the same line, aligned, like Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was fully transparent. He was fully honest by word and also by action, and also his thoughts that he transmitted to the books. They were fully purified. And that is our great anchor in our spiritual life. How can we understand? What does it mean without duplicity? We have to take shelter at the lotus feet of those Vaishnavas who are already without duplicity, without the tendency for sense gratification, and for serving others, like Srila Prabhupada or Prahlad Maharaj. And that is our great hope, that through this Srila Bhagavatam we can become purified, and we can come to the stage that we can render service unto the pure devotees, like Srila Prabhupada, and thus establishing devotional service as an irrevocable fact within our lives. That is a long path by daily applying it and very regularly coming to Srimad Bhagavatam. I thank you so much for being with us and coming to the Srimad Bhagavatam class, Srimad Bhagavatam Yagya. It's like Harinama Eva Kevalam. By hearing and chanting Srimatan Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Ketanam Viradi Antasto Hi Abadani Virunoti Shuritsutam. This Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to hear it every single day, and we have also recite it in the group of devotees. Thank you so much, everyone. Please forgive any offenses, any calamities that I might have caused, and I'm very happy to receive your chastisement or feedback, anything that you would like to add to the discussion. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.